Hello everyone, welcome to the Canvas Release and Deploys webinar monthly. Today is Friday, November 14th. We have a release on the 15th, so I'm going to send this out today. Hopefully this can be a resource for your faculty or instructors that like to stay on top of the releases, and hopefully this is a great resource to keep you in front of those questions that may come in regarding releases. All right, here we go. So we are going to take you through the release notes. This time a little more me walking through the community as opposed to slides. So I always like to keep these a little more interactive. So hopefully showing you, if you're unfamiliar with some of these areas and where to find these resources, hopefully this is helpful for you. So I'm going to take us into the release notes today. First thing I want to talk about before I jump into the community is we did actually, today is Friday, November 14th, we did an accessibility call, which was really just, we hosted this, Kylie Pugh and I, as customer success managers, hosted this for the state of Florida. So if you're from the state of Florida and you attended this call, I think it went really well, but I'd like to offer this out to the other states and other schools that I help manage as a customer success manager. If there's any interest in accessibility or other topics really that you'd like to meet about, happy to do this in addition to the office hours and in addition to the monthly or touch point meetings that we have along the way. You'll see I'm going to continue to add resources. And one way that you've seen possibly with emails, and for some of you I've met with, we are establishing quarterly business reviews or some type of executive business review on a quarterly basis, which will help me develop a joint impact plan. This is really just a plan that both of us can follow. It sets goals, and then later down the road at a set date, we can present on these goals. We can also look at data to make sure that we're meeting these goals. And these goals are all going to be about usability and adoption for Canvas. So, but this resource that I'm referring to now, one, we used it for accessibility this time, but we can definitely use it for other topics. So if there's interest in this, I'm going to drop a form into the email today for this as a part of this resource. If you're an instructor and you are not an administrator and you're watching this video, reach out to your Canvas administrators and give them these topics. They can pass these along to me, and we can look at setting up some of these larger calls for the statewide for some of the institutions in higher ed to meet and kind of network and talk about some of these topics. So I wanted to start that way today because we did have such a successful call this morning regarding accessibility. One thing that I want to talk about, we're going to jump into in the community. One of my favorite areas is the community weekly highlights. I build a lot off of this. And so in the community weekly highlights, which is current, it's always the week before the current week. We see featured content. We're going to see upcoming events that you might want to put on your calendar. Two areas that I want to focus on here. One, we have a new and next showcase that's getting ready to drop. If you recall, new and next are typically done quarterly, and this is where we will talk about product roadmap over the next quarter. We introduce new features. This one specifically, we've already done that. We did that in October. That recording is available in the community. This is going to be an update and a showcase featuring Ignite AI, which is our branded artificial intelligence within the LMS. Ignite AI, if you're not familiar, there's lots of tools that have already been introduced. They are more being introduced as we speak and over the weekend as part of this release. And we have more on the radar for the spring. So if you are wanting to get on top of or just more information about this would be a great webinar to attend. If you're not able to attend, go ahead and register, and we'll make sure we get the recording of the webinar out to you as soon as that's available. The webinar itself will be on Tuesday, November 18th at 10 a.m. Mountain Time, 11 a.m. Central, and of course noon Eastern Time. We'd love to see you there. Grant, this is going to be great information. We'll also kind of preview the Ignite AI agent, which is a chat agent or the premium version that'll be available starting the end of November and going into December. We'll have a roadmap and pricing on that premium. So that's going to be an impressive tool, a really helpful tool across the board in the learning management system. So, all right. So I wanted to point that out. We'll also go back to our community updates. And there's one other event that I'd like to point out for you all. Must open a new window. Here we go. We also, if you are kind of following the Canvas portfolio, the new tool that will be replacing our legacy ePortfolio tool, and our Portfolio tool, which is the current tool. We have a webinar also on the same day, Tuesday, November 18th. This will be an evening webinar, so I don't anticipate a lot of you attending this, but again, I think the recording from this will be very helpful. This will be from our Product and Learning Services team, where we really take an in-depth look at the all-new Canvas portfolio, the features behind it, how that will fit into Canvas. This is a free tool. There's more portability behind this. There's more that ties back into Canvas in this new tool. So long-term, I think this is a better solution than even the Folio tool that we've had. So if you want to learn more about this, the timeline, we are going to deprecate the older tools, the eLegacy, or I keep saying eLegacy, the Legacy ePortfolio tool and the Folio tool during next summer of 2026. So staying on top of that timeline, if you have questions, this is going to be a great way to kind of address that, or at least help you form those questions, and you're always welcome to send those along to me, and we can talk about them. Also in the community updates, just to point out, we have a couple new blog posts I think that would be helpful. We do focus on artificial intelligence quite a bit, so we have a lot of strategic posts about AI. If you're not following the Artificial Intelligence in Education group page, I would highly recommend you do that. You'll find that under the groups link at the very top of the Canvas community. You'll see here's a tab here, a group page for artificial intelligence in education with a little brain next to it. Lots of good topics in there. All of our nutrition facts for Ignite AI are also would live in this area or linked into this area. And we have lots of conversations, discussion posts about artificial intelligence. So if you have not come up with a strategy yet on how to implement AI into your into the LMS or into your higher ed institution, now is the time to start figuring out how to do that. If you have questions or develop a plan, we can help you do that, and we can talk about a kind of a launch strategy of artificial intelligence in your Canvas instance. So here's the next area we want to go into. Oh, I want to mention we'll probably see this in the notes. There's a feedback opportunity for that folio as well, or Canvas portfolio. Gotta be careful my terminology here. Canvas portfolio, we have a feedback opportunity. There's a form available into the blog posts. And we also have a group page for the Canvas portfolio tool. So if you're interested in giving feedback, if you have started to use it, or you're testing it, you're rolling that out, feel free to give feedback directly to product so that we can make adjustments to it, make it better before we finally, which goes into production over the weekend, but even after it's in production, so we can continue to kind of fine tune it to make it better over time. So next we're going to go into products, Canvas, LMS. We're going to take a look at the release and the deploy. Best way to get there, Canvas LMS, hub inside the community, release notes, tab. I like to go into view all release notes so I can see the release and the deploy all at one time. It also gives us a tab to move back and forth. So I just want to focus on the upcoming release over the weekend, which is the 15th. That's tomorrow, November 15th, Saturday, at some point during the day, usually the late afternoon, depending on the region you live in. Talking about the East here, that's when you'll typically see the release take place. So, excuse me. Let's take a look at the release notes. Just some of the bullet points here. We're noticing I mentioned the Canvas portfolio feature preview is concluded, so it rolls into production. If for some reason you want to opt out of the Canvas portfolio display viewing, it'll be visible within your account level navigation. You can opt out of that. There are specific instructions. You can reach out to me, or you can check the community under the Canvas portfolio group page. We actually just recently published something this week talking about, again, those specific instructions or ways to opt out of Canvas portfolio appearing in your production instance. So if you're not quite ready for that yet, you want to do more testing, you don't want to have that appear, you can turn it off. We're also going to talk about the feature previews for Ignite AI, so the 3 new tools that are available this month in the release. We have some performance and usability upgrades for SpeedGrader also available, and we've got some additional updates. These are tied to the end of life for ePortfolio and Folio. So let's go into the notes and take a look. So bookmarking into this one, let's go into our portfolio feature preview concluded. So again, this happens over the weekend. Canvas portfolio will no longer be a feature preview. It'll be enabled for all institutions in the user navigation menu, with exception, let's see, it's not available for your free for teacher accounts. We have a couple different additional resources plugged into this. Again, it's available for all. We have some instructions here down below that you can follow, including the opt-out. It's mentioned in the release notes as well. You can see app placements, so you do have some control over where the app does appear if you wanted to fine-tune that after the release. But notice it's also calling out the placement of portfolio in the account navigation, but also in the user settings as well. We also have a little bit more information, and this also appears on the hub page itself on portfolio, the two types of portfolios that can be used, how to develop those from the student end, how they can be used by the instructor. So there's lots of good information in here. Future enhancements also down the line for this portfolio tool, but overall I think it's a great upgrade or a great tool if you're interested in portfolio. Definitely take a look at this, provide feedback, and we'll talk more about this in the future. So, but there it is, Canvas Portfolio. I'm going to move into our next feature. There's quite a bit here for portfolio, so they included all the notes from the testing and the feature preview since it is going into production. So overall, has received really good feedback, so I'm excited about it moving into production. So new feature previews. Here are the three big tools this month for your artificial intelligence. One is Ignite AI translations for inbox discussions and announcements, which was introduced a few months ago, and it was pushed back a couple different times now, and finally hitting production in November. So this will be available for all. Notice for all of the tools, all of the Ignite AI tools, they're very subtle within the functionality, so they appear within existing tools. So they're not changing workflow. If you offer these tools, if you turn them on for your account level, if they appear at the course level inside of these tools, they are instructor-based tools. Only one of these features, which is the translation feature we're getting ready to talk about, has some student functionality, some student end user use. That's the only feature, and that can be turned off if this is a language course and we don't want to offer a translation tool within your discussions thread. That can be disabled at the account or the course level. I apologize. So, but everything else is at the account level is off by default. So that should answer a big question. Are these tools going to show up, and are they going to kind of disrupt, or are they going to cause some panic because things are changing and now instructors have to figure this out quickly? No, they're off by default. When you do turn them on, even when they're on, they appear as assistants or tools within the existing tool. So meaning, some of the questions I've had are, can my instructors opt out of these tools? Well, they could, but they also can just ignore them because it's only available for them, and it's not part of the workflow. So it's not required that they use these tools. So they do appear off on the side. They're branded Ignite AI or with the Ignite AI logo on the button. And should an instructor decide to use it, it pulls in the functionality. They still have the option to use that, whatever's generated from using the tool, or they can bypass and not use it at all. So just want to clear that up. All three tools that we're going to review today are that way. But the Ignite AI translations for inbox discussions and announcements. This is an instructor-based tool, mainly for inbox and announcements. It's instructor only. For discussions, it's an instructor tool for discussion threads, but it's also a student tool as well. But again, that can be disabled at the course level. So excited about this. Right now, these are the languages that it includes. Additional languages will be available on future releases. But I think overall, it's a great tool, especially if you have an instance that you have students that are kind of working in multiple languages. This will be a great assistant for the instructor. So we're going to move into the next AI tool. This one's exciting. This is Insights for Discussions. This is separate from the Discussions Summaries AI tool that was released about a month ago. They are not tied together. You don't have to enable one to get the other. They're independent. So account level, you can turn it on. It can be turned off at the course level by the instructor, but again, it's also something that the instructor doesn't have to use in their workflow. If they choose to use it, this creates a dashboard display for the instructor to be able to review discussions, be able to see evaluations of the replies on discussion threads. They can quickly see if the reply or the thread in the discussion is relevant to the criteria of the discussion itself. They can also do a quick review or add notes or take action. So this is the Insights dashboard. You'll see the student name is populated with the thread or the reply, the relevance, the time posted. So you have a nice date, time stamp, and then actions. One of the primary actions for this, it makes it a really valuable tool, especially within the grading process, is it does have the ability to integrate into the SpeedGrader. In order to use this feature, though, the platform usability updates for SpeedGrader must be enabled first before this will integrate into SpeedGrader. If you don't have that enabled, and there are other benefits to the platform usability updates for SpeedGrader, and if you don't know what those are, you can check those out. There is an update in this release that also impacts the platform usability updates for SpeedGrader. And we'll see future updates when we introduce an artificial intelligence tool within SpeedGrader. But for now, this is an integration into the Insights tool for discussion. So that dashboard would appear in both places. Primary location would be in the discussion thread. Secondary would be within the SpeedGrader to assist instructors with that grading process. So if you do want to take advantage of that, and eventually this will be kind of the norm, then I would go ahead and take a look at the platform usability updates, enable that so that you can see it in both places to truly take advantage of the full functionality of the Insights. So again, this is just quick reference, not too deep dive into AI and creating content or anything like that. It's an assistant to help kind of populate data, to help gather data. There's a word I'm looking for, but I'm missing it. And then also kind of a reference tool to kind of see that quickly in one place to be able to evaluate. So again, just an assistant. The last tool we're going to take a look at is the Ignite AI Rubric Generation tool. This is a tool that is appearing inside of assignments. So I want to point out something. The caveat here is, so even though it's rubric generation, it is not available within the rubrics tool itself at the course level or the account level. So if you can go in and build a rubric right now at the account level, push it down or make it available for courses, an instructor can use the rubric, building a rubric from the rubrics area within their course. This tool is designed to assist with content that has been created through an assignment. The reason for this is all of our AI tools right now, this will change in the future, but right now are siloed tools. That means they're not using outside data. They're not pulling in data from outside of Canvas and using that to generate content. They're only using content that is housed within Canvas or that has been already created by the instructor. So because of that, this tool, in order to generate a rubric, is using the data that it's pulling from the assignments, which assignment types can be essay, written responses, presentations, projects or group work, or open-ended assignments. All of those give the option within the assignments tool when they use when they choose the option to build a rubric, give them the option to use the rubric generation tool. You'll see the button, Ignite AI branding. They use that tool, it generates criteria or content. They can use Common Speak to ask for the assistant to build the rubric, and then the rubric with that criteria will also pull the content from the assignment and generate the rubric. So it is a handy tool. It definitely speeds up workflow. There are future plans to expand this into rubrics once we get a little bit more into the OpenAI learning language models in the future, which will pull outside content. But we want to make sure that we kind of step into this and that it's under full control of the administration and that we're keeping data secure. So that's really important. There's a feature preview video that helps kind of understand this workflow and understand how this tool will work. But I definitely recommend taking a look at that. But also keep in mind the reason why it's not fully launched into rubrics or building rubrics from scratch is because of the way that it's accessing data or the data is siloed and housed within Canvas. So it's a good first step. There's lots of other enhancements coming in the future. So keep an eye out for more, but this is a great introduction of this tool. I mentioned the performance and usability upgrades for SpeedGrader. That can be found also upon this release. There's an upgrade being done to the comment library. So the filter has been added to the comment library with this particular update. Instructors can now filter by comments, course comments, or assignment comments, there by the illustration. There are additional enhancements to the platform usability updates. If you want to check those out, even linked into the release notes is the upgrades for SpeedGrader Group Hub. I would recommend taking a look at all of the enhancements also, especially if you want to enable this to prep for the SpeedGrader AI Assistant tool that's coming soon in the spring, and also to use the Discussion Insights tool. It would be great to enable this and test. So mentioning that group page, also getting kind of caught up all together on the platform usability updates. Finally, we're going to go into other updates. The Legacy Canvas Native ePortfolio. This is an announcement of the deprecation or the end. Institutions and end users will no longer have access to Legacy Canvas Native ePortfolios, and any associated content is no longer available through this tool as of June 30th, 2026, specifically legacy native ePortfolios. There is a canned report in your settings. As an administrator, you are able to pull a report on usage of the ePortfolio tool. So if you're curious if there is any usage, you're curious how it's being used, who's using it, there is a report that shows that for the ePortfolio, the legacy system. Folio is a different story. So notice that there's not an announcement for Folio yet, but we're looking at the same timeline. If you have questions about Folio, if you've used the paid service for Folio in the past, which had some admin benefits on the Canvas end, we do have some reporting for that. If it was only a student benefit and it was a free tool, the Folio is still accessible by students, but there is no data on the Canvas end to provide for administrators to see who was using it or see how many folios. But there is a lot of communication right now to the students or end users it's available for the end users to let them know they need to export that data if they truly want to keep it, if they truly want to access it. That data can be moved into the Canvas portfolio. There's not a bulk action to do that. There's not a process for an administration to bulk move data from any of these legacy systems to the new system, to the new Canvas portfolio. So I just want to clear that up because I know it's been kind of confusing. If there are more questions, just reach out to me. Let me know if you have what those questions are. But with such, it was lower usage as far as the Folio tool, even lower for the ePortfolio tool. Don't anticipate a lot of hiccups for moving data or exporting data or making sure that students know what's happening and that they can access that data with plenty of runway before the end. So that is it for our release notes. The other area that I want to touch on is our deploy notes. So I'm going to back up real quick into that high-level display. We're going to click on the deploy tab. I'm just going to mention these. I'm not going to go into detail because on the last two deploys, not a lot happening. I will mention updates into some course settings and some workflow here. Developer keys, specifically the LTI Advantage Services permission has been renamed. Developer keys also, the improved endpoint search and scope requirements. And then course settings. This is kind of a small change, but maybe a nice change for those that cross-list. The cross-listing updated has made updates to anytime you see the INST UI, it's Instructor UI. That is our own user interface that you experience or that you see when you're in Canvas or when inside the LMS. So that's really just verbiage changes or that UI experience changing. This one's a positive one for cross-listing. Actually, we'll take a look at that one real quick. So just to give you an idea, because it was mentioned a couple times on a few calls. So the uncross-list form component has been updated to use React inside of, and also the Instructor UI. So moving back out to our deploy tab, maybe. Did I leave it open? There we go. The other deploy that I would mention, the previous deploy, the only thing here is I would look at some of our APIs updates. APIs missing users report, or the agent report, has been updated for administration. Also, developer keys, agent notification, enhanced rubrics, the rubric trash icon text update. So a couple different updates. Again, small changes to existing functionality within the LMS in different areas, especially the feature previews or updated features. Take a look at those. If you see anything that stands out or have questions about any of this, just let me know. So that's all the big stuff that I think we have. Just to keep you up to date, always check the Canvas roadmap from time to time if you want to see what's coming. We're starting to highlight more features on here regarding artificial intelligence. So if you want to know more, definitely attend the new and next showcase for Ignite AI to see what's coming in the future. We've got all kinds of cool stuff in store. So I mentioned this on my calls, but we will see a survey option for new quizzes that has been announced. We will see some reconfiguration of new quizzes, which is really exciting. This will alleviate all kinds of stress and challenges we've had in the past with data in new quizzes and reporting. Here we see the roadmap. This is Q4 currently what we're in. So you will see kind of a whole slew of tools here that I'm pretty excited about. Moving forward into next in spring, we see a couple more features being prepared for artificial intelligence being prepared for the LMS. So these are all built-in features. That's what's really so exciting about them is it doesn't require any additional cost to enable these. You just want to get yourself up to speed, enabled, prepare your communities, your end users, your instructors, enable them with training and resources so that they're prepared when these become available whenever you decide to roll these out. So That's exciting. Stay posted on that. If you have questions, please let me know, and I'd be happy to answer. And again, I'll reach out here probably with a form soon to kind of poll different institutions on topics maybe that we can run a roundtable session in the future. I'm happy to host that. So hope everyone has a great weekend. Enjoy the releases over the weekend. If you have questions once we hit production with some of these things, just let me know. I'll also be reaching out soon with opportunities for scheduling a quarterly business review, which at that point we can talk a lot about objectives and joint impact plans for next year, 2026. So hope you all doing well. Take care, and we'll talk to you soon.